just to be here, and thanks very much for the opportunity to read. This first poem, I thought it was anti-pastoral or post-pastoral or something cool like that, but when I looked at it I realised that just because it's set in the city suburbs doesn't make it any less of an imagined idyll. When I was growing up, those words every child hates, it seemed to spend more time outside playing games in the street. I make a reference to one of those games here. Crocodile, crocodile, can you cross the Red River? Probably all too young to remember it. Anyway, this is called No Fields Were Fought Over in the Making of This Poem. No bird's beak pierced frozen fox-killed lambs. No furrows were ploughed, nor calloused hands held. No beasts were birthed or brought home crepuscular light. Our stars were dimmed by streetlights stretching over footpaths and light leaking through Venetian blinds. Our animals were hutched and collared. Cats flicked their tails like neighbourhood dogs behind wrought iron gates. Daffodils sprang in synchrony along garden paths. Rhubarb waited for summer under upturned buckets. Our neighbour's sunflowers peeped over the wall, like Mrs. Lyons through her windowsill geraniums and starched net curtains, the red eye of her cigarette giving her away. Birds fledged and leaves turned to the throttle of Ford Angulas, the hiss of bus tires and puddles, and children asking permission to cross the Red River, until the glowing cathode rays gathered us in. This next one came after a visit to Tavira in Portugal. We stopped on a bridge to listen to a jazz band, and they were really good, and then later we climbed to the top of the church tower, and when we were up there, somebody rang the bell, and it was resonating through my head for hours. I imagined the music had gone up and got trapped under the bell and was released then. A jazz band on the Ponte Romana. The guitar licks around the melody as money jingles into the plush lining of the worn leather saxophone case. Paper flutters in with the coins, and they take turns to solo over the vamp of twirling, white-painted double bass. The accordion chords tumble into the shadow of the arches, confusing the meeting waters. The clarinetist stands up, takes the centre, raises his horn so that notes fly skyward, are caught by passing birds, carried out to sea, and dropped to feed the whales. Mellow saxophone tones climb the walls of Santa Maria do Castelo, all the way up to the bell tower, and lodge there under the bell, escaping later to a stanzas with an unexpected tone, resonating down the hill, into the music, into the blue, blue sea, blue river, blue sky. When I started writing poetry, my eldest son was a teenager and told me I was never ever to write a poem about him. Well, sorry, baby. I showed him this during the week and he said, very nice. And I said, was it okay to read it? And he said, yeah, it's grand if you give me a lift to Lewis. So I did. So. Before I had him, I had a miscarriage, so all the time I was pregnant with him, I kept visualising the heartbeat on the ultrasound, the little dot blinking, and thought if I concentrated hard enough, I could keep going by an act of will. This is called My Eldest Son Rescues a Badger. Before I knew you, you were a white dot blinking on a screen. This was your heart beating, and always and every day I reminded it to keep on going. Now you're a man, and I must trust you to remember. Last night you met a badger maundering in the road, vulnerable in the hush of darkness between lamp pools. You pushed him into the ditch beside the golf club and watched him trundle through the hedge. We had our customary discussion on the gender question, me conceding that male and female badgers look alike, powerful of limb and strong in claw, and you conceding that there is equality in the world of badger origin. There is no equality in the world of badger mothering. One female kills the offspring of all others in the clan to ensure her babies will withstand their first winter. Then they're on their own. Not you though, son, not you. There's a new, well, relatively new expression called virtue signalling, and while we all want to save the planet and eat healthy, there's no need to make a big fuss about it, I think. This is called Motherland. Their shopping lists read like myths: goji, amaranth, pomegranate. They pull their children behind bikes in flimsy little carts with flags. Perhaps to make them easier to chase when they detach on a hill, which they surely will someday. I try to tell them this with my eyes. Their clothes are made of future fabric: padded gilets, neon techno shoes. Their trousers are short and noisy as they doppler swish past me in the park. They're intolerant of wheat and dairy and of good enough mothers. They make me wonder, am I old enough yet to be rude to people and get away with it? When my sister and I were clearing out after my mother died, we found so many things that she'd never used. I think it was an old thing to do, save things for good, with the danger that they would never be used. I do it myself with notebooks. They have to have the perfect thing to write into them. This is called saved. In hell, they wear uncomfortable bras every day and unmatching corpse-coloured knickers that roll down onto their bellies every time they sit down. They don't have perfume or scented soap or anything that comes in a box with a ribbon, because they were all saved for good and there's no good times here. So, while you're alive, lather yourself up, spray scent like an angry skunk, feel silk smiling against your skin, the tickle of lace as you walk. Go deeper, start from the inside. Wear that attitude you had when you were 16. Express it in your outdoor voice, indoors. Drink tea from the good china every morning. Play with matches, talk to strangers. Write it all down in a beautiful notebook you are saving for celestial inspiration. Keep going. This is as good as it gets.